What's going on, everybody? Almost Counts Collectibles here, and in today's video we're going to be checking out something really cool. So for a while now I've really wanted to get my hands on a Super Nintendo. Haven't had one in forever. I still have some of my games, but I've been really wanting to get my hands on one. I want to go back and play some of my games. I want to get some other games that I want to play with it. And I just haven't ever been able to come across one for what I consider a reasonable price. You can go online and find a Super Nintendo not in the best shape, but is said to work, and they're upwards of $100. If you find one in good shape, and even if it comes with a game, you might be looking at $125 to $150 easy, depending on what that game is and once again what the condition is. Haven't really been wanting to spend $100+ on just a Super Nintendo. So I've been keeping my eyes out for one at flea markets, garage sales, local listings, and haven't really found one in good shape or in the price range that I wanted to pay. Until now. Actually came across a Super Nintendo at a garage sale, and I got it for what I think is a good price, but we're not going to know until I find out if it works. So let's go ahead and go through this box of the stuff that I picked up. We'll talk about the Super Nintendo last and kind of what my plans are for it. But let's go ahead and check out all the stuff that I picked up from this garage sale. All right, now that we're a little bit closer, let's go ahead and check out everything that we picked up. Now, everything in this box was $100, okay? I paid $100 for everything in this box. A lot of this stuff I wasn't even really looking at. Didn't really care about, but they just threw it in for free if I bought the Super Nintendo. So let's go ahead and just check out some stuff here on top. So I believe all of these are computer games. So we have NetMech, and be honest, I don't even know if they're in here. Let's check real quick. All right, that looks like it is in there. So we've got NetMech 8-player pack from Activision. Once again, this is a computer game. We have Legacy of the Stones. So that looks like it's in there. We have Tarzan, the action game. We've got A Bug's Life, the action game, CD-ROM Windows 95. We have Pink and Yellow Power Rangers CD-ROM. What is this? Oh, we've got a Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue Interactive Data Zord. Well, that's pretty cool. I did not know that was in there. What else we got? We have Disney Pixar's Monster Inc. Pinball Paint. We've got Toy Story CD-ROM game there. All right, we have a sealed DVD of Underworld Evolution. Thought that was pretty cool. We've got a couple CDs that we were checking out. So my wife got a Kelly Clarkson, and we've got Britney Spears here in good shape. 2 more CDs to add to our 90s collection CDs. Although Kelly Clarkson, that's probably more early 2000s. What is that? Yeah, 2003. So we got a couple CDs there. Got a copy of Dance Dance Revolution Ultra Mix 3 on the Xbox. Don't really care about the game. I was interested in the case though. And good thing I didn't care about the game because that's not what's in here. There is a disc 2 for Halo 4 in here. But this case is actually in good shape, so once again I like to pick these up just to swap them out with another game if the case isn't in great shape. But we did get that thrown in with the deal. There's a sealed copy of Transformers, the first movie, on DVD. Bonus collectible Optimus Prime mask. This does look a little UV damaged. You can see right here where there was a sticker on it. That kind of saved that, but I'm sure this has been sitting out in the sun for much longer than just on that garage sale table. So yeah, a little faded, but still a cool piece. Now this I was looking at this. They were only asking 10 bucks for this, but because I bought the Super Nintendo and stuff, he just threw it in for free. But this is a mint condition. I mean, it is CIB. Everything looks like it's hardly ever been touched. A copy of Shadow of the Colossus. One game that I've always wanted to play on PS2, never did get a chance to actually play it. I've wanted to pick it up for a while to add to my PS2 collection. Finally have a copy of Shadow of the Colossus. So I was excited to get that. I think the rest of this is Super Nintendo stuff. Here's a little CD holder of some more computer games. Like I said, they just threw in for free. We've got Tiger Woods, EA Sports, Covert Ops. What is that? Icewind. Icewind. We got F-22, Vietnam Black Ops, Delta Force. I'm assuming a lot of these are first-person shooters. I'm not sure. So some more computer games inside of a case here. All right, guys. So here's the Super Nintendo stuff. Now, like I said, I got this whole box of everything. Most of this stuff was just thrown in for free, but I paid $100 for this. Now, that might seem like a really good deal, and it might be if this stuff actually works. They could not guarantee that it works, said it hadn't been used in years. The last time it was used, though, most of the games and stuff were operating as they should. But they couldn't guarantee that this was still working. So I might have paid $100 for a lot of things that are broken and don't work, or we got a pretty dang good deal on this. So as you can see, let's go ahead and pull this out. Oh, it looks like there's more manuals in there than I thought there was. We'll get to that in a second. This Super Nintendo is extremely yellowed. These do that a lot. This one is pretty bad. It is dirty. There's a lot of crud on it. Oh my goodness. And there's, I don't know, guys, this might not work. That is extremely dusty, dirty. Looks like some crumbs down in there, as well as dust, dirt, debris. This is going to need to be cleaned. I don't know. The shell is in pretty good shape, other than the fact that it is dirty. A tiny crack right there. The corners have some tiny little cracks in them. But yeah, here is the Super Nintendo. Seems to have spring tension stuff. You know, I don't know. We're going to test it here in just a little bit and see if it actually works. But we did get a Super Nintendo. I'll get to the games in a second. So we have the RF switch hookup, and we have the power adapter, which I was told are authentic Nintendo items, along with the controllers should be authentic Super Nintendo. So you can see these are extremely yellowed as well. They're pretty cruddy. That one's pretty sticky. This stuff is definitely going to need to be cleaned, but first we're going to have to test it. So we got two controllers. We got the power adapter, the RF switch. Now, if you guys are aware, so the Super Nintendo also has AV cables you can use to hook it up. Those are not included, which is why they said that they couldn't test it, because they said they don't have any. So I'm going to have to get a set of those. However, I did look it up, and the AV cables to my Nintendo 64, maybe even the GameCube, I'm not sure. The Nintendo 64 AV cables actually work in the Super Nintendo. So I'm going to be able to test this on my TV here in just a little bit, and we'll see if it works. But let's pull this stuff out. All right, so let's check out the games, okay? Now, I actually already have this game, but I got another copy of Turtles in Time, a really good game. Pretty valuable game, not too crazy, but it does have a little bit of value if it works. Super Mario All-Stars, once again, not super expensive, but does have a little bit of value. Donkey Kong Country, great game. One of the games I wanted to go back and play. One of the main reasons I picked this up is because I hope this game works. I did want to play some Donkey Kong Country. We got Super Mario World, once again, classic, really looking forward to playing this. And as you guys can probably see, these games are in pretty good shape. The labels are pretty good. They're not all nasty and faded. I mean, even this is kind of cruddy. Hopefully they work, guys. I don't know. We're going to test them. But because there were so many games in here, is the reason why I went ahead and paid it. SimCity, once again, I already have this game right here. But, you know, just some extra games. We got X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. I do not have this game. Really hope this one works. We got Street Fighter 2. Pilot Wings, all right. Do not have this game. Actually, don't have many Super Nintendo games. I might have like 10 of them. But this game right here was one of the games on Nintendo 64 that for some reason just really, I got addicted to. I thought it was amazing. I thought the graphics were amazing at the time. It was just a super fun game. And I hear the same thing about this for the Super Nintendo. Looking forward to playing that. We got Super Mario Kart, another game I have fond memories of playing. Looking forward to going back and playing that again. F-Zero, pretty sure I have this game already. I know I used to have it anyways. I don't know if it's over here with my other stuff, but if I don't have my original copy, I have another copy of F-Zero right here. So we did pick up F-Zero. Once again, assuming these things work. And I actually already have one of these. But in all honesty, I think this one might be in slightly better shape than mine. This one is pretty clean. So we got a Super Game Boy. So, right here, oh, I see, yeah. So, I saw this at the bottom, and they said the Super Nintendo had some of the stuff it originally came with. So here's the Super Nintendo manual. Here are some inserts. So we have some manuals for the games. I did not know that this was included. They didn't mention they had manuals to the games, but we've got Street Fighter 2's manual, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, and F-Zero. So we got those. What else we got in here? All right, we've got one of these inserts. We have another Super Nintendo manual. And we have one of the like diagrams that kind of show you how to hook it up. And then I don't know if this is the original, one of the original plastic bags either. But that's what we got. So I am going to test this and see if it works. So let's head over here. We'll hook it up using my N64 hookup since they're already plugged into the TV. I'll just plug it into the power outlet. We'll go through and see if these games work and see if the Super Nintendo works. All right, so the Nintendo 64 AV cables did work. At least it fit. So we've got the Super Nintendo hooked up and I have put in Donkey Kong Country. So we are going to see if I just wasted $100 or if this actually works. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Hey, all right. It works. That is a relief. So let's go ahead. All right, that is really good news, okay? I was really hoping that this wasn't gonna be a broken console or worse, you know, a bunch of water damaged or something games or something of that nature. So it turns on. All right, I don't know what's going on with this. I'm pressing buttons and nothing's happening. All right, maybe this controller doesn't work. Let's try a different one. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this controller's working. I don't think this other controller works, which that's not the end of the world. Maybe it needs to be clean, but worst case, I'll just buy another one. I don't see any saved games. So maybe the save doesn't work. I'm gonna play this real quick. I'll fast forward and we'll see if the save works. All right, we're gonna test just a couple more games here real quick. We are gonna test X-Men. because I am curious to see if that works. All right, X-Men turns on. All right, so far so good. All right, let's test another game. All right, so this is Turtles in Time. Looks like it turns on and powers up. All right, let's test one more before I wrap this video up. We are gonna test Super Mario All-Stars. Uh-oh. Now the Super Nintendo is dirty. All right, Super Mario All-Stars is not working. Hey, there we go. All right, took a couple tries, well, more than a couple, but it probably just needs to be cleaned. So does the Super Nintendo, but the cartridge does turn on. All right, everybody, so I just got done testing all of the games, and although some of them took a few tries to get to turn on, all of the games eventually turned on and started working. Now, unfortunately, this controller right here, at least some of the buttons don't appear to be working on it, especially the start button. I don't know if that's something that we can fix by taking it apart, cleaning it. I'm not sure. But the Super Nintendo does work, at least to the extent that I tested it. And the games, to the extent that I tested them, did work as well. I attempted to play through a little bit of Donkey Kong Country, made it past the first level, but I forgot, I think in this game you have to make it to a certain point on the map in order to get to your first save point. I don't really remember, but I think that was the case. So I couldn't test the save batteries in a lot of them, obviously, because I didn't play them long enough to do some save data. But I don't care about that. If I have to replace batteries eventually in these, I will, because they are in pretty good condition. So it looks like we got a really good deal. Now, with the Super Nintendo, since this one is extremely yellowed and it's dirty and it's cruddy, I want to do a custom paint job on this Super Nintendo in kind of a Legend of Zelda theme. I think I'm going to go with a two-toned gold and green. So we will do that customization. It's not going to be anything super crazy, but we're just going to give it a nice paint job, put a few new decals on it, and just make us a nice looking custom little Zelda Super Nintendo to put over here and make a Super Nintendo cube area in our retro gaming console area of our game room. So stay tuned for that video. We'll clean that up, we'll paint it, and we'll show you the finished product on that. But just wanted to share with you guys this little deal that we got, especially that Shadow of the Colossus. I'm really excited about that. I'm super excited about the Super Nintendo, but I am glad I finally got a copy of Shadow of the Colossus. So thanks for joining us, guys. Just wanted to share this with you. Stay tuned for that customization video for this Super Nintendo. And until next time, everybody, I will see you next video.